Shalom everyone, and nearly Shabbat Shalom. Today is Friday. Today is the 28th day of the Hebrew month of Iyar. Today is May the 19th, and we are about to start a new book in Torah this coming Shabbat. We're going to be reading the first portion in the book of Numbers, chapter 1, and we're very excited about that. I'm actually excited as well about sending you this video today. Today, exactly 56 years ago, was the day when Jerusalem was released. In 1967, in June 1967, but on this day on the Jewish calendar, a big war started, the Six-Day War. Israel was attacked from every possible direction, and in a very miraculous way, with the hand of God being felt and seen on every side on the front lines. We saw great victory over our enemies, and Jerusalem was released. There is a big celebration now today in Jerusalem. A lot of music and singing and dancing. People from all over the country go and visit the city and give thanks to God for giving us the city back. The book of Numbers is called in English the book of Numbers because we have a lot of countings, right? I mean, God is asking Moses to count the people. He wants to know how many of them are there. And this is why the Greek translation of Torah, they chose the name for this book to be the book of Numbers, because we see God counting, and we see how many people were in the tribe of Reuben and how many people were in the tribe of Simeon and Levi and all of that. God really wants to know how many of them are there. And this, of course, we ask the question: why does God need to know? Why do we need to do the counting? I mean, of course, God knows even without us being at that point of counting the people. He knows inevitably. So why are we committed to count? And the answer is that counting. I mean, God counting His people. It's like a king sitting on his throne, counting his most precious gems. He always wants to know how many of them are there. He wants to know how they're like. He wants each and every one to feel that he or she, that they count. And this is why we find this counting. We find the verb for counting, which we find in biblical Hebrew, which is different than the modern Hebrew for counting. We see the verb laset rosh. Laset means to lift up or to carry. It's the same verb which we find in the Aramaic blessing, where we see that the Lord will lift up his face towards you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha. Right? It's about giving grace. It's about showing favor. It's about showing His love towards one. And this is the reason why we are doing all these counts. Why the book is called the Book of Numbers. I think that now that today, because of this big celebration we find in Jerusalem, I think we can find a very strong connection, remembering that kind of affection, remembering that kind of love that God has for His people, the way we can all see it. And by looking at that love, by looking at Him being faithful to His word, know more about this God that we worship. I think this love is something so central in our relationship with Him. Even if I'm not Jewish, even if I'm not part of the Jewish people, to see the kind of love that God has for His people, that is clear evidence. That's like a testimony about His love for me as well, for all human beings, for all of mankind, all of us as His children. So bringing together the book of Numbers, which could also be called the book of love, and the day in which we celebrate the release of Jerusalem, I think that's a unique opportunity to give thanks to our God in this time. So Shabbat Shalom to you all, and looking forward to see you here in Israel.
Hi everyone, we just want to tell you about something that we are doing here in Israel and that we'd like to invite you to take part in. Probably about 2 times each year, we host a group, people that come from all over to Israel to spend a week with us. And part of that week is studying the scriptures together, worshiping together, going to places together and meeting people. So if you want a kind of a trip to Israel that's going to be very different from a regular bus tour and going to sites, your sites are going to be people, meeting people and hearing their stories. Tell us about it,
And
yeah.
that's why the week is called the Now Week, right? It's no ordinary week. Now stands for no ordinary week, and we would like to take some time with you to do it differently, to give you a different experience of Israel. To go, even when we go to places, and we do go to places each day, these would be places which are off the tourist map. We will mainly meet people, which is very much the thing about building up a relationship. And we would dedicate each day during the week. We would dedicate the first half of the day until about 2 or 3 hours. We would dedicate for studying the scriptures together, and then all the sites that we will be visiting afterwards, they would have a connection with what we have been learning. So getting to know the land, getting to know the people, getting to know the Word of God in a whole different approach.
And getting to know God in a whole different way too. I mean, one of the main things, or central things to our time together, is worshiping together. And you might sort of think, well, how can you do that as an Orthodox Jew and a Christian? Well, believe me, you can. And I feel God's pleasure very much when we do that together. So it's a really wonderful thing. So we invite you to come.
Yes.
And keep track on when the dates are, and you can contact us.
You're all invited. God bless you all. Thank you
Bless
very
you
much.
all. Bye.